Retirement not far. Be broke, no car, no home. Didn't plan, should've started here's where I am. But that's not me. I've changed my baits, earned more to invest, pay off debt. Second job, I'm not losing. I've come too far. In the end, no government cheese, no powdered milk. I eat meat.
Well, good morning and welcome to another live stream. Today is December the 19th. It is Friday and we're a short few days before Christmas. And glad you guys are here with me. Tonight, or today's title is, if you saw it there, it's intentionality. Intentional movements. That is today's title for the show. And I'm Chad. I'm almost 51 years old, and I'm working on my 5-year millionaire, becoming a millionaire 5 years. Now, you can say all that you want to say about it, and you can tell me exactly that it's super difficult, and all of that would be true. You could say, hey, what's the most money you ever made over a certain period of time? And the amount that I give you will most likely be a whole lot less. So I understand and I realize that doing this is not going to be easy, and it will be very difficult, and I've never done it before, but I'm doing it right here openly in front of you guys. And the idea of intentional movements really struck me and came to me. It didn't strike me. It was an inclination that I had as I was driving back from north of Seattle back home, and I got to thinking, what am I being shown in the YouTube, either recommendations or just in like the regular YouTube page home feed? And it didn't bother me, but I recognized a pattern there, and I thought, well, recognizing patterns, they're going to be for your benefit, right? Or they're going to be for your slow destruction. And what was being recommended and shown to me in my page, generally speaking, you would hope are the things that you're searching for. But for the most part, like, I'm being shown a lot of things that are relational dynamics between male and female. And most of the presenters are going to be on the male side of the business with a very few short female. And that got me thinking, could my thinking and my own thought patterns be moved in a way that is not of my own doing or my own selection or my own choice? And the answer to that is yes. And it's right there on the homepage and the feed. Being that I don't watch regular TV, most of what I do consume as a video would be through YouTube. And I'm guessing there's plenty of others that are like that. That most of what you consume is through a YouTube feed, or you search through YouTube. I do mainly my searches through YouTube, or more recently, within the last couple of months through an AI platform, because I find from the AI, the information is a little more succinct and it doesn't have the ads in it. So, intentional movement for better outcomes. There we go. Intentional movement for better outcomes. If we want better outcomes, we have to be more intentional. If I want better outcomes in my feed, I believe I need to be more intentional. Now, do I think that what's in my feed is garbage? No. Do I think that what's in my feed can be polarizing? Yes. And in some regards, we need both of those things. We need something that's a little polarizing or contrast, because we can use that to better understand the world around us. What that means is anytime I sign in, like right now I'm signed in, I'm streaming live, but anytime that I sign in, I want things that show up on my feed that are for my benefit, not for my polarization. And you can see that. I would say when I say polarization, things that lean one way, heavily one way towards its opposing opponents, the opposition to it. So I see a lot of things a couple of things that are interesting is I see a lot of things that would be, I guess, categorized as the manosphere type stuff. I see that. I see a lot of things. Oh, I see motorcycle stuff because I'm into motorcycles. But I don't see nearly as much motorcycle feed or aviation airplane feed as I do the manosphere type stuff. And I'm all for, I'm a man's man, all for men things. But even in that, even if in that frame there are two different ideas, I'm still seeing one idea presented a little bit stronger in opposition to the other idea. And this is coming from men on both sides. What that tells me is the channel is feeding me, my homepage is feeding me what it believes either I want to see or my demographic, my age demographic group wants to see. So it's feeding me these things. So then what do we do in that regard when you're trying to be intentional and have intentional movements to better your outcomes? Because that's what this is all about. The 5YM is bettering your outcomes. Well, specifically for me, it's to better my outcome going into the future, going into my retirement years, which I still got a little ways to get there, but hopefully we can get there a lot sooner while we still have some youth and vitality with us and within us. By the way, that opening song, if you heard the opening song, that is my retirement song. I wrote the lyrics to that song and used some tools to actually create the retirement song. And I let AI do the assembly of those things. So AI assembled those things, brought in the music genre and the style and the cadence and the rhythm, and it took my words and it came up with that song. So I've got a few different versions of that song, same lyrics, that I'll get to play, which is kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Use AI tools, intentional movements for better outcomes. Use the tools to your advantage to help you solve not solve problems, but answer some questions that you may have. AI could be your assistant. It could be your assistant, but we've got to be intentional with it. So as we're talking about intentional movements for better outcomes, what I plan to do with my channel here and the feed stuff that comes down as I'm engaging and consuming, because I consume YouTube, consuming these things. Oh, there we go. Consaging, that's a new conjoined word. Consaging, consuming and engaging. Consaging. Look at that. We're making up stuff as we go along. All right. So then my plan is more intentional movements for better outcomes with my channel, and also with things that I consume on YouTube, in the hopes that it begins to show me things that are more aligned with what I want to do as an outcome, not necessarily what my age demographic says. Because, so the manosphere stuff is one thing, and then even if we're looking at the ads that are coming through, oh my gosh, the ads. I mean, I don't look up a whole bunch of things on YouTube, which is why I'm going to, moving forward, because I want to engage with information that is moving me in a positive direction forward. I want to engage with it. So I want to look it up, and I want to either consume it in bits and pieces for the benefit that it provides, or I want to leave that swipe up, swipe down, swipe left. So it's not swipe left or right, but up and down. So that's kind of what I'm thinking and what I want to do. So that's what I want to do with the channel. So all YouTube is showing me things that I would just, in a general reference, say it's manosphere type stuff. I want to look at things that will move the needle. Okay, how do I get closer to becoming a millionaire in 5 years? How do I, like some other things, how can I use a certain bit of information to develop out another area of my life that I need some help with? And I'll tell you what, I've done that. And there's a channel that I watch, Vantastic, V-A-N-N-tastic. Look that channel up. I think you're going to find some great information there. It's mainly related to finances and paying off your debt sooner than later, and it gives you a different framework to look at finances, money, income, and debt, and how to be a better steward of those things. Not just in you take it and you save it, but how do you take what you have and use it for its maximum benefit versus taking your $4 and buying a cup of coffee. I mean, that's the benefit is I don't have to make the coffee, but I receive it. But Fantastic is a great person, a great channel for finances. I think there's probably over 500,000 people that are following her. And I've implemented one of those strategies recently, and it's a new strategy, but it just makes logical sense. So yeah, follow that person. So that's ideal of being intentional in your movements for better outcomes, which is where I'm at. Intentional movement for better outcomes. Sometimes your intentional movements are going to be not moving in a direction at all, even if the pressures around you are pushing you that way. Sometimes the intentional movement is no movement because you have decided, I am not going that way. I'm not going that way. I'm going this way. Intentional movements for better outcomes. Something else on my feed, and this whole thing right now is about the feed and not taking control, but taking keen observation of what is being delivered to me and why is it being delivered. Because most of the stuff that it's delivering to me are none of the things that I've asked for. So I can only believe it's being fed to me based on a age demographic, gender demographic, and what it believes people in my range, right, my categorical range are interested in. But look, I don't need to see every third or fourth ad because I don't pay for a premium. I don't need to see every third or fourth ad to be some type of erectile dysfunction medicine. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see every ad is for like manosphere type stuff. Hey, men are this and women are that. I don't need to see all those things either. How about show me things that are lighthearted, things that are not so serious. Those are the things you have to search up for. And I was doing a little bit of searching the other day because of my last live stream, and the idea was how can I find specific smaller content creators under 1,000 subs? How can I find them in my areas of interest, motorcycles, airplanes, um, running, work, that are under 1,000 subs, because those are the folks that I want to support. Support with a like, a share, a comment, and even some financial inputs into their channels or Cash App or whatever that might be, because I'm looking at intentional movements for better outcomes. I want better outcomes, which means on the front side of that, I have to be intentional with my movements. So I am being edified and encouraged and learning at the same time. Edified, encouraged, and learning at the same time. If you look at on your page and what's being recommended to you, if you're watching me, I'm glad you're here, so that's probably a good thing. We might have some things in common. But if you look at it in general, what sort of ads? Oh, the other ads that I'm seeing quite frequently are replacing your roof, automobile insurance, replacing your roof, automobile insurance, pressure washing, soft washing, that kind of stuff. And I'm going to continue to pay attention to see what's coming across my feed. And I am zero searching for any of those things, and I don't need any of those things. But somehow, in some format, the system believes that I fit the demographic, so it's feeding me. And even if we're looking in our recommended section, what is the system feeding you? What is the system telling you that you want? What is the system? What part of the psyche is the system telling you that you're not happy with? See, these are all the things when we're seeing ads, that's marketing. And that's a point where the system is saying, okay, we need to create some dissatisfaction in specific areas so the system could extract your hard-earned dollars. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. I see it. I see it clearly. And some of the stuff is useful, but maybe not needed. And so now, as we continue this conversation on intentional movements, put somewhere in the comments, what are you going to be intentional with? The year's coming to an end. I'm not saying make New Year's resolutions, but even still, then you got to be intentional. Our default mechanism and our default mechanics is apathy and laziness. That's the default, meaning you don't have to do anything. Or it means you only want to do those things that in the end are only pleasurable but don't provide a long-lasting benefit. So you want to play, and you want to be entertained, and you want to be coddled, and you want to be all these things because you're avoiding the hard work and the energy and effort that it takes for a better outcome. And the first step is intentionality. If you look at 2 videos ago, video on Inspire, that's the thumbnail, has a big Inspire across it. That's in those times when you have this inspired moment, which I call the small gold nugget from God, and it was a thing to act upon, that you sense, oh wow, I can do this. Oh wow, I could do this thing. That's an inspired moment. Well, now let's be intentional with those moments and run those moments to the end to find out where they lead, because it might lead to a spot where you never thought you would be, but when you get there, you find such a sense of satisfaction because of your own work, energy, and effort that you go, man, I'm glad I took that step. See, and this is what we're talking about when I say intentional movements for better outcomes. There's nothing that's ever happened in your life of such significance for a positive benefit that was not intentional. Intentional movements for better outcomes. Let's have these moments so for better outcomes. Now, this isn't this you gotta man up. This isn't that, because the women out there too, this is for you as well. In your days without intentionality in a specific direction, you are going to squander the time. And that's nothing you'll ever be able to get back. You're not going to get back the time, wasted time. Look, intentionality, like I just said, just briefly, you being intentional doesn't mean you're always doing something. You can be intentional when you go take a nap. You can be intentional when you go to bed at night. You can be intentional in the manner in which you're taking out the trash. Okay, am I taking out the trash and putting it in the can, or I just throw it on the side, piece of paper falls, and I just leave it there and I walk away from it? You know, there's that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I bet if you look around your close circle, not of people, but of how you move, you'll see markers and signatures of your life wherever you go. Signatures and markers, like these two lights back there, right here and here and here, and this one over here. That's intentional, and it's intentional in the sense that I've got a little app on my phone, so I can control those. That's an intentional movement for a better outcome, because I needed better lighting where I work my regular job, 60-ish hours a week, and also try to have conversations with you folks. Intentional movements for better outcomes is a thing. And being this close to Christmas and close to 2026, our ability to move with intention or not move in areas because of intention will be more important as the years go by, because if we remain in our default state, which is apathy and laziness, we are going to lose the time, we lose the opportunity, and then we lose the compounding effect of, I don't want to say improving, but that's what it is. We lose the compound effect of improving our lives to another degree. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to be intentional. I'm working on my intentionality for certain things, and noticing what's coming across my channel feed got me thinking again. And that's the key. Are we thinking? Are we observing? Are we paying attention? That's me on the motorcycle right there. That's up in Washington on a couple business work trips I think a couple months ago. And on the motorcycle, you're intentional. The way in which you ride is intentional, and the way in which you engage in the world is intentional. I'm a student pilot learning to fly planes. That is intentional. Things that I do in the plane are intentional. Intentional movements for an outcome, because you are always working for your outcomes, and your outcomes may not be successful, right? But your intentional movements to go that way, to become successful, are important. All right, hey, two-wing touring. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. Thanks for the comment. Let's see. Aviation, sports videos, but I also get the insurance, the roof, and other things according to the time of year. Oh, politics, yeah. See, they are feeding you what they want from you, right? I guess in our age range, there is something that is wanted from us, and if we're not closely engaged, they will take it from us. Not through force, but through a group herd mentality. And so as we let's pay attention. Let's be keenly aware and observe the world around us. And what is the world telling us? What is the world how is the system trying to direct our movements? Because they have intentions for us. Their intentions for us are to extract our lives, and that's not what I want to do. I want to take my short time here on this fireball, not maximize it, but bask in the beauty of it, experience the good parts of it, with obviously with people that I know and love, and friends out in the community like you guys, and think through that stuff just for a better outcome. A better outcome doesn't mean more. Maybe it's just I'm resting. So how do we be intentional about some of these things? So that's one thought that I have that I needed to not tell you, but memorialize and get it out of my mind and into a script, which is here. That way I can come back to it later and be like, all right, I see the difference in my feed. I see the difference in my life, right? Because we want lives that are differentiated and unique for our own liking. And that's why I'll end it there with saying intentional movements for better outcomes in the end is a better life. So appreciate you guys coming along and participating and hanging out for a few minutes, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And I also look forward to seeing the stuff that you're creating, because I want to come behind you and support what you're up to and comment on your stuff and share your stuff and engage with you guys. So let's keep this conversation going, and feel free to just put it in the comments down below, and send me a link of somebody else to participate with and engage with and encourage as well. So with that, we will end it for this Friday, December 19th, 2025. See you guys.